Hello everyone, before we begin today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue bringing you great content. Your support means everything. Let us keep this channel growing collectively. Thank you very much. Now, let's begin the story. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain details modified to protect anonymity. My name is Michael, I'm 39 years old, and I need to share something that has been weighing on me for a long time. Growing up, I was the invisible son overshadowed by my younger brother, Nathan, who was the golden child from the day he was born. My parents, while present, never really connected with me the way they did with Nate. Mom was always hovering around him, making sure his needs were met. Dad would attend all his soccer games but missed most of mine. I was there, but somehow invisible. When Nathan was born prematurely, everything shifted. The house became a germ-free zone, filled with disinfectants and caution. If I sneezed or showed the slightest sign of illness, I was immediately sent to Grandma's or Aunt Lisa's place, as if I were a danger to my own family. At first, I thought it was a fun adventure. Grandma baked cookies, Aunt Lisa had a collection of old books. But I soon realized it was punishment, a way to keep me away from Nate's fragile health. I tried to get attention the right way: straight A's, awards, talents, but Mom and Dad's eyes never truly met mine during those moments. They were always focused on Nathan. By middle school, Nathan had outgrown many health issues but learned to use his sickness as a tool. Headaches meant I stayed home, fatigue, someone else did his chores, stress over tests, Mom called school to get extensions. I spent most of my time in my room, buried in books about history and antiques, my little sanctuary where Nathan's allergies to my lavender air freshener kept him away. Grandma was my true refuge. She introduced me to her vast collection of vintage watches and jewelry treasures she let me sort and catalog. That's where my passion was born. High school was my escape plan. While Nathan dominated drama club and sports, I focused on academics and debate. I joined clubs that fit around my part-time job at a local diner, where Carol, the owner, treated me like family when my own parents often forgot my birthday. I was meticulous in everything: color-coded notes, organized study plans, a perfectly kept desk. Nathan teased me relentlessly, calling me Rain Man, but it didn't bother me. With no one watching, I was free to be myself. I excelled in debate, learning how to hold my ground and negotiate, skills that would serve me well later. My SAT scores were perfect, but sharing that achievement at home was met with indifference or worse, comparisons to Nathan's mediocre schoolwork being celebrated. College applications were my secret project. I applied to 15 schools without telling a soul, handling every essay and financial form on my own with the help of my guidance counselor, Mr. Ellis. Acceptance letters came from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and the University of Michigan, all with scholarships. I kept these locked away, afraid of the family reaction. When I finally revealed my choice, the only celebration was for Nathan joining the JV cheerleading squad. The scholarship was my ticket out: tuition, room, board, books fully covered. I worked double shifts that summer to save for the move, learning from Carol how to spot genuine kindness among the noise. Moving day was bittersweet. My parents couldn't attend due to Nathan's cheer competition. Aunt Lisa stepped in, driving me to campus and handing me a 500 envelope saved by Grandma from her Social Security. That night, I promised myself to build a life so vibrant, being invisible would be impossible. College life was a whirlwind of all-nighters, cheap instant meals, and the intoxicating freedom of independence. I graduated summa cum laude from the University of Michigan, but my family's attention was still elsewhere, caught up in Nathan's endless college transfers and drama. I started working at a prestigious auction house in Detroit called Wexler & Sons, specializing in estate sales. Not glamorous, but it paid the bills and put me close to my passion: vintage jewelry and antiques. My breakthrough came with the Linden estate, an elderly woman's vast collection of costume jewelry that, to most, seemed unremarkable. But something caught my eye: an Art Deco brooch with unusual weight and an intricate clasp unlike typical costume pieces. During lunch breaks and late nights, I dove into research, cross-referencing vintage jewelers' marks and signatures. I even took an online gemology course using my own savings. After 2 weeks, I presented my findings to my boss, Mr. Wexler, complete with images, historical context, and authentication evidence. He was skeptical but intrigued. The brooch sold at auction for $52,000, part of a limited 1920s European collection. My boss's respect grew, and soon he handed me more artifacts to authenticate. My hobby had become my career. Weekends were spent at estate sales. Walls of my apartment were plastered with hallmark charts and certification guides. My commission checks grew, and for the first time, I was saving money. Family dinners remained a stark contrast: casual remarks about my little antique shop job while Nathan flaunted his latest mall purchases, ignorant of the rare $1 million pieces I'd authenticated. Then came the Ellis collection, a massive, old money estate buzzing with industry anticipation. I was on the team cataloging their jewelry, when I spotted an overlooked Art Nouveau piece. 3 days of intense research revealed it was a lost jewel from a famous French collection believed destroyed during World War II. It sold for $240,000, and Mr. Wexler summoned me. I expected a promotion, but instead, he said, "Michael, you're wasting your talent here. You should start your own authentication business." At first, I doubted it, but the idea took hold. I took a loan against my car, emptied my savings, and rented a tiny office above a Chinese restaurant, the rent cheap because of the constant aroma of Kung Pao chicken and spotty Wi-Fi. Starting out was terrifying. Cold sweats, loan payments, a makeshift desk from Goodwill, but my reputation from the auction house helped. I offered detailed authentication services at lower fees and built a loyal client base. Within 6 months, a local dealer asked me to authenticate a large Victorian brooch collection. I spent 2 weeks documenting every detail, discovering rare pieces misidentified as replicas. She rewarded me with my fee plus a 10% commission, $89,000 more than I'd earned in 2 years. Word spread. Collectors, estate lawyers, and even my old auction house brought me work. Mr. Wexler quietly supported me. I hired Jenny, a talented gemology graduate who reminded me of myself, quiet but brilliant. She became my head authenticator, and the business expanded faster than I imagined. We moved to a proper downtown office, formed a specialist team, and built a reputation for uncovering lost treasures in attics and basements. Family remained in the dark. At dinners, they'd joke about my little shop while I'd recently authenticated $1 million pieces. One evening, Nathan casually mentioned donating an old charm bracelet to Goodwill, suggesting my shop might want it. I didn't care anymore. I had found my own success, my own identity, far from the shadow of being Nathan's invisible brother. This was about 2 years into running my authentication business when I got the call about the Whitmore estate, an expansive, centuries-old family fortune. The buzz in the antiques world was electric. I was part of the team responsible for cataloging their collection. Among the many items, one piece stood out: a seemingly ordinary Art Nouveau necklace that everyone else overlooked. I dedicated 3 sleepless days to researching it, cross-referencing old archives, and consulting experts. My persistence paid off. It turned out to be a jewel from a renowned French jeweler's private collection, believed lost in the chaos of World War II. The auctioneer valued it at over $250,000. When I presented my findings, my business partner was ecstatic. This was the kind of discovery that could elevate our reputation internationally. But the moment also marked a turning point for my relationship with my family. At our next Sunday dinner, Nathan casually brought up jewelry again. "Michael, I found this charm bracelet at the mall. Maybe your little shop wants it?" The room went silent. My mother's face twisted through confusion, surprise, and finally something like disbelief. She whispered, "This can't be true." I calmly confirmed, "Yes, Mom, I own one of the country's largest jewelry authentication firms." For years. My father nearly choked on his drink. Aunt Lisa dropped her fork, and Uncle Joe started coughing uncontrollably. My mother's laughter quickly morphed into anger, her face flushed red, then purple. She slammed her chair over, shouting, "You have millions, and you let us struggle." I replied steadily, "Struggle? I send you $7,000 every month." She scoffed, "While sitting on millions your brother has student loans." That was the moment the facade broke. Instead of congratulations, I was met with outrage and entitlement. For years, I had been the invisible son, overshadowed, ignored, and dismissed. But now, armed with success and independence, I was finally seen, though not in the way I hoped. The past decades of neglect and invisibility left scars, but they also forged my resilience and determination. I built my life on my own terms, and I refuse to let anyone diminish that. Looking back, those years of invisibility taught me invaluable lessons. I learned to rely on myself, to find joy in solitude, and to develop skills that would become my lifeline. I still remember the endless hours spent cataloging Grandma's old watch collection, a task no one else wanted. That patience and attention to detail became the foundation of my career. High school taught me discipline and focus, but also the bittersweet taste of being unseen. My achievements were mine alone, celebrated only in quiet moments and personal pride. College was liberation, but it also meant stepping into the unknown without family support. I learned to navigate challenges independently, building a network of mentors and friends who truly cared. Starting my own business was terrifying and exhilarating. Every sleepless night and anxious moment was worth it when I landed my first big commission. Jenny, my first hire, reminded me of my younger self, overlooked but talented. Watching her grow into a confident leader gives me hope that others like us can thrive. My relationship with my family remains complicated. There's no simple reconciliation for years of neglect and misunderstanding. But I choose to focus on the future I'm creating, not the past that tried to define me. This story isn't about revenge or bitterness, it's about finding your voice when you've been silenced, about building your own path even when the world overlooks you. If you've ever felt invisible or undervalued, know that your worth isn't determined by others' recognition. Your journey, your success, and your happiness belong to you alone. Thank you for listening. If you relate, please consider subscribing and sharing your story in the comments. We grow stronger together. With time, my business flourished beyond my wildest expectations. From a tiny office above a Chinese restaurant to a sleek downtown space, our team grew, and so did our reputation. We now authenticate pieces worth millions, uncovering treasures that others dismiss as worthless. Every discovery feels like vindication, proof that patience and persistence pay off. Despite the success, I continue sending financial support to my family, not out of obligation, but because part of me hopes for healing. However, their reaction to my achievements showed me that true change requires more than money. Nathan, once so indifferent, now looks at me with a mix of envy and disbelief. Mom and Dad's dismissive attitudes have softened, but old wounds linger. I've learned to set boundaries, protecting my peace without severing family ties entirely. What once was a source of pain has transformed into motivation. I'm building a legacy that's mine, built on integrity, hard work, and passion. And I'm proud of the man I've become, invisible no longer, but a force to be reckoned with. If you've ever felt overlooked or underestimated, remember this: your story isn't over. You have the power to write your own chapters, filled with triumph, resilience, and hope. Thank you for being part of this journey. Don't forget to subscribe and share your own experiences below. Together, we rise.